We'll be starting now. There is a popular saying, the bitterest truth is better than the sweetest lie. Unfortunately, startup founders are often deprived of that bitter truth or constructive criticism. They get sugar-coated BS from their prospects instead of a purchase order or funding. And we at Ethom are set to change that. That's the reason we host these roast sessions where founders get to answer difficult questions and learn from the brutal, unfiltered feedback from subject matter experts. And all of that is done on live stream to make founders comfortable with unknowns. Today, we have Tom Stevens, CEO and founder of Kuikads on the hot seat, who is going to be roasted constructively by a diverse panel. Now, I will request our panelists to introduce themselves and share a bit about their experience. If I may start with Cassiano. Cassiano, please, could you please introduce yourself?
Sure. So first of all, nice to meet you, Ton, and all the other colleagues here. It's a great honor to be here discussing ideas and helping Ton and Kuikads to evolve. My background is basically in payments and financial services. I have been working for the last 8 years building new companies and new products inside StoneCo, which is a Nasdaq listed company. And during the last year, I have been responsible as a product director for developing GenAI new ventures, exploring how we could leverage GenAI to generate value for merchants.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Cassiano. Really appreciate your time today. Shashwat, may I request you to introduce yourself, please?
Thanks, Pankaj. Pleasure to be here. And I'm going to roast Tom, and hopefully it will be very constructive. So I've been, I'm the co-founder and fractional CMO for Helix Consulting. And what I basically do is help co-founders for their GTM, and very specifically, I have an Epic framework that I use to evaluate. So that's broadly on me. I've worked in various roles across a diverse set of organizations. Pleasure to be here. Slightly nervous. Let's see how it goes.
Thanks a lot, Shashwat. Really appreciate your time today. Danica, may I request you to go next, please?
Hi, everyone. I'm Danica Burke. So my background is a bit different. I'm in design and marketing and brand strategy. I'm the regional general manager for FST, and we're a creative shop that helps B2B businesses tell better stories. So really interested to kind of see the approach here and dig into it. You'll notice the Kiwi accent on this side of the screen as well. I said to Tom on LinkedIn earlier that I hope he had his Weet-Bix because I'll be leaving kind of any camaraderie at the door.
Thanks a lot, Danica. Appreciate your time today. Narayan, please, next.
Sure, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Pankaj, for this opportunity. It's my first time, as you rightly mentioned, that seldom do founders get raw feedback. And when I got an email from you, I'm like, okay, something interesting, something different sort of a discussion. Why not? Part of a couple of VCs, and I'm on the board of selection of startup committees as well. But I like, okay, this will be different. So thank you so much. I'm Chief Business Officer at VServe. VServe is India's leading AdTech company, something what Tom will resonate with, right? Prior to this, I was with a credit bureau, Experian. And prior to that, I was with telecom operators. So the least common denominator between AdTech, financial bureau, and telecom is data and anything and everything around data. So propositions coming out of data analytics, and that's what made me come here. And good to meet all of you and look forward to an interesting conversation.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Narayan. Appreciate your time today. Zihe, may I request you to go next, please?
Thanks, Pankaj, for having me for this opportunity to look at the startups and roast them. I may have a different view. I have a hedge fund background, and most of the companies I gone through in recent days are the well-established big companies that are listed. So I'm really I'm really interested, and I'm really happy to have this opportunity to look more into the startups, to contribute like what I have from the listed companies kind of view. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Zihe. And again, thanks to all the panelists for being with us today. I'm sure that we are going to have a lot of interesting comments, feedback, questions. Again, please do not hesitate, do not hold back. I'm sure Tom is fully ready with his answers and an ice bucket. And I'm sure you are going to enjoy the session thoroughly. Now, Tom, may I request you to do a quick intro, please, and then do a deep dive into Kuikads. Please go ahead.
Sure. Thanks very much, Pankaj. And thank you very much to all the panelists for joining and for introducing yourselves. Danica, I did appreciate your reference to the Weet-Bix on LinkedIn earlier this morning. You may all notice that I too have a New Zealand accent. However, I've spent the last 10 years based in Madrid. Aside from a stint at in the commercial office of the New Zealand Embassy, I have spent the last 10 years founding and helping Spanish startups scale internationally. I now serve as the co-founder and CEO of Kuikads. I'm also joined by two of my C-level teammates, Jaime Zawaya and Vadim Fedorov, on the call, who'll be supporting with the roasting after the presentation. Pankaj, would you like me to go ahead and share my screen then?
Let's do that. Yeah, please go ahead.
Just bear with me one moment. Okay.
Yes, we do see your screen.
All right, so I'm just going to move you guys over to one side. All right, let's do this. Well, hello everyone. Thanks again for all those others who are tuning in. As mentioned earlier, I'm Tom Stevens, co-founder and CEO of Kuikads, and it is my privilege to be here to present a powerful opportunity to you all. That is to how your company can leverage AI and customer data to generate personalized video experiences at scale that actually make a difference. So what if every customer truly believed that your brand had created a video just for them? It turns out that today's customers don't just want personalization, they expect it. In fact, 71% of customers now demand personalized experiences based on their behavior, preferences, and context. And if they don't get them, they churn. Now, there are three reasons as to why the time is now for personalization. Firstly, thanks to AI, APIs, and cloud services, automated content creation is scalable. Secondly, cookies are on the way out. First-party data is therefore more important than ever. And finally, video has emerged as the most effective format for digital communication, especially on mobile devices. In short, customers want video and they want it personalized. And here comes the problem. Traditional video production simply can't keep up. It's slow, expensive, and difficult to scale. As you can see in this diagram, generic videos fail to engage, which means most customer data is left unused in one's CRM or CDP systems. There's a huge gap between what companies could do with personalization and what they're actually doing. Kuikads fills that gap. We automatically transform customer data into millions of unique personalized videos. Every video is tailored, every video is brand safe, and every video is created without ever touching a video editor. It works in three simple steps. Firstly, you design your branded video template with placeholders for personalized elements. You then connect your data, so your customers' behavior, purchases, segments, and so on from your CRM or CDP systems. And then our system will generate the videos on demand, which you can then share through your chosen channel. Lately, the most popular channels are direct messaging services like WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Telegram, and so on. Others are wanting to use these as in-app notifications or to send via email or through any other omni-channel experience. So to give you some examples or some video examples, in the case of Zara, they experience 15 million abandoned carts per day. Here's a simple video we put together for them. It says, hello, Teresa, you've left the following items in your cart. It shows images of the garments. It shows the name of the garment, the price of the garment, and then finally it concludes with a CTA to try and incentivize that return to the purchase. Hopefully you can hear both the volume and my voice, or the music associated with the video. In the case of Dyson, a common household brand, they are always wanting, well, currently, like many large companies, wanting to bring their sales funnel somewhat further in-house as opposed to sent always through B2B distributors. They're subsequently implementing a rewards program. They offer extended guarantees, early access to products for those members to their loyalty program. We put the following video together. An upselling example, it says, hello, Patricia. We hope that you are happy with your Dyson V8. Given that you purchased it 5 years ago, perhaps you're interested in the new and improved V15S Detect submarine that serves as a vacuum cleaner and as a mop. And you know what? It's on sale. Dyson. So in terms of use cases, honestly, the options are infinite. Every sales conversation we have results in a brainstorming session as we explore each company's communication challenges and opportunities. In Spain, we have a hospital sending appointment reminders 24 hours before the appointment, given there were so many no-shows previously. We have a digital bank sending personalized onboarding videos explaining certain features that are only available to that particular user. We have a telecoms company sending happy birthday videos as part of its loyalty program. They have information on a particular passion or hobby of their audiences and therefore create these personalized experiences. And as mentioned, we have many retail companies wanting to send abandoned cart recovery videos. So when we translate this business impact into numbers, in general or across our portfolio of clients, we're seeing a 240% increase in their email click-through rates relative to standard static content, a 3-time higher engagement in onboarding flows, and a 40% lift in conversions. Now, it should be clear that in some cases, those conversion lifts are significantly higher. We also have, as a specific example, Auto Recupera, a vehicle auctioning platform. They've seen a significant spike in their requests for demos and in general bidding activity since incorporating Kuikads. In terms of our pricing, it's designed for enterprise scalability. It's based on 3 elements. The first being the video volume, the videos produced each month. Secondly, feature access or inclusion, and then support requirements. We offer SLAs, we offer custom integrations and an analytics platform. And then our pricing ranges somewhere typically between 5 and 20 cents per video, depending on the volume. With regards to our team, our C-level team has deep experience or combines deep experience in AI, design, and enterprise video. We've built scalable backend systems, we've closed B2B deals globally, and we've helped many international businesses adopt transformative technology. We're also backed by leading VCs, angel investors, and mentors in SaaS technology, MarTech, and applied AI. Finally, I'd like to pose you all the question, are you ready to turn your data into a differentiated experience? At Kuikads, we would be delighted to help you boost your engagement, accelerate your sales, and increase your retention rates through scalable, personalized video. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Tom. Let's take questions. Please unmute yourself, panelist.
Can I dive in?
Yeah, please.
That's so much more interesting than your website sounds.
Thanks, Danica.
Yeah, my kind of big critique was going to be that it, if you're browsing, and I'll come back to I'm leading up to a question, but yeah, what you've got kind of presenting online for people who are looking for you sounds like an absolute fraction of the potential. And I was going to drill into what what's the breadth in this idea and how can it be kind of adapted across different industries and use cases. But it sounds like you're already starting to explore that outside of retail, right? Your website just looks like it's retail. So where are you at in telling that story about the potential of the platform?
Yeah, it's a really good point, Danica. So basically what happened last year, we launched a B2B SaaS platform, which was oriented more towards generating video ads for social media and the like. And then at Christmas time, we received our first significant request for proposal from the telco company I mentioned earlier for the generation of 2 million personalized videos. And so it was at that point that we realized we were really onto something if we could offer our underlying technology via API. So we subsequently performed a significant pivot in January. We very quickly, in the space of a couple of weeks, put that website together and then launched this new solution effectively to the market. And that's when we effectively got the startup momentum. All of a sudden, the venture capital firms with whom we'd been talking over recent months, all of a sudden took an interest. We closed our pre-seed round within the space of a month. And we've subsequently, we've accelerated very quickly in terms of our go-to-market and sales discussions and the way in which we pitch it, but we haven't gone back to the website to review how we're displaying it. So it's definitely something we need to do. Now that we've officially signed our shareholders agreements and so on, we can dedicate more time to our marketing and kind of wider go-to-market strategy.
Yeah, and so how are you finding those customers? Are you finding them? Are they finding you yet?
Yeah. So our initial go-to-market strategy has been largely based on sequential emails that are automatically sent through our HubSpot workflows. So we are buying databases effectively through a subscription and third-party platform, and we've worked very hard on refining our email workflows. So we're going direct to large corporate companies. It's typically the chief marketing officer, heads of loyalty or communications within those organizations. So that's one pillar, so to speak, direct to the corporate. The second has been via channel partners, comprised of both marketing agencies and digital consulting firms. If we're totally honest, we've had sort of mixed experiences. It's much easier to get to a partnership agreement type state with the channel partners. However, in the case of some agencies, despite getting pretty excited and presenting our solution to some of their customers, given that we don't have visibility necessarily at the beginning of those decision makers, we feel a little too distant from that kind of sales process. And sometimes it goes quiet. So we're at a point now where we need to really review everything that we're doing and decide what could be done differently. So we're still figuring it out, basically.
Yeah, because who would you be asking the users to be in that channel partner strategy? The agency. So
in a channel partner, so a digital consulting firm, let's use Merkle as an example, if you're familiar with them. I believe they belong to the Dentsu group. They are looking to offer our solution within their suite of products to large corporate companies. And then they manage the integration and can offer an ongoing kind of support service to the company in question. But it's the company that is our client, and then they're sending the personalized videos to their audience. Make sense?
Yeah. So they're selling it in for you and managing platform for the client.
Yeah, the technical side of it for sure.
Yeah.
In the case of marketing agencies, there's an industry standard here in Spain for commission schedules, and we effectively pay commissions on a scaled compensation scheme.
Nice.
Make sense? Or, I mean, do you have any other recommendations?
Yeah, it does.
Let's take questions from Narayan till then.
Sure. Thanks, Pankaj. Hey, Tom, good stuff. Just two questions to start off with. What's the kind of technical integration that is required, right? So are you extending it like a SaaS platform, or is it part of an SDK that you embedded in the brand's app SDK? How does it work, and what's the time for integration? And the second question I have, you mentioned you mentioned a pricing schedule, but today brands, I'm sure, worldwide are using WhatsApp as part of their CPaaS, communication platform as a service, right? They've embedded multiple SMS, email, WhatsApp tools for retargeting, remarketing. How do you see competing yourself against them on a video scale, right? Over to you.
Excellent. Thanks, Narayan. In terms of the integration, so our technical team, currently comprised of Vadim and Jack, they have developed the API. It's pretty straightforward. So we can either integrate directly with the CRM or CDP system of the customer, or they can extract the requisite data from their systems, prepare the payload, and send it via our existing API. And we can then generate those videos and return either the file directly or give them a public URL to access it and then on-send through whichever CDN system they prefer. Before I dive into the complementary nature of our solution with the other communication or direct messaging services, Vadim, was there anything you wanted to add to the integration there?
The only thing to add is that we have API as a basic level, and then on top of that, we have SDK that talks to our API and basically makes it easier for the developers to integrate. Currently, we have a SDK in single language, but it can be extended to whatever is needed.
And what's the time for integration, Vadim?
This depends highly on the technical team on the other side. Yes.
Yeah, client. I know it's a two-way street. Okay. But on your estimate, when you pitch, what is the SLA that you commit to them that in how many days or how many weeks can this be achieved if they move fast?
Totally depends on the size of the organization, right, Vadim? Sorry, go ahead, mate.
Yes. No. Yeah, I want to say the same. Technically speaking, you can integrate in a day, and then everything depends on the approvals and release deployment schedule. So the integration is simple. Everything else around it can be complicated.
Understood. Got it. Over to you, Tom, on the second piece.
Thanks, Narayan. I just wanted to add one other thing there. You talked about facilitating integrations. I just wanted to point out that one of the elements on which we raised money recently was around the development of what we're calling Quick Studio. It's a no-code platform. We're currently hiring for a new front-end developer to lead that build. It's going to facilitate all sorts of speedy integrations. It's also then going to be wrapped and then hopefully included in the marketplaces of platforms like HubSpot, Salesforce, and Shopify to make this, to effectively democratize the service for smaller players and obviously facilitate easier or swifter integration. Thanks, Narayan. Regarding the second part of your question, the first company that comes to mind, one we're in discussions with, is Blip. They dominate South American communications via WhatsApp for large business. They're not currently, whilst they're involved well beyond customer service, and they are therefore going a bit further beyond, they're doing cut recovery type communications, various marketing communications. They're not doing audiovisual content. And that seems to be a trend amongst most of those players. So we see ourselves as the perfect plugin. We're saying for those that are, instead of charging standard fees for message sending, some of them are charging on the return on investment, i.e. commission on the sale of products. And therefore, using our videos, they will see an increase in those conversion figures. So it should be a win-win. And that's what we're working towards.
Interesting. But no, maybe it's a South American concept, but here in Asia Pacific, direct messaging is in all aspects of business, be it remarketing, customer engagement. And I do get messages from the brands that I'm using, and in their WhatsApp, they do send me videos as well. Obviously, there is no personalization. Well, there is, it mentions my name, but I do see like a 5-second video saying that, hey, check this out, our new product, etc. So hence, from that background, I asked that, how do you see yourself competing with direct messaging companies? Because today or tomorrow, even South America will get this. Yeah,
I mean, we would like to think that our content can be even more so hyper-personalized. We are capable of changing the visuals of each and every scene. We are not limited to durations or formats. We can include voiceovers, different audio for different demographics. So maybe some of these other solutions are heading down that same path, but because we're specialized in this, we expect to always be a few steps ahead.
Sure, makes sense.
Yeah, that's the intention anyway. We'll see what happens.
Makes sense. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Narayan. Thank you, Danica. And Danica, if you want to come back again, please feel free to do so. Zihe, I see you have unmuted yourself. Please go ahead.
Sure. Thanks, Thomas, for the sharing. A really great idea and great execution for now. And just having two questions, but I think they're really related. So first, what's the mode of your technology base for this? If you're using LLM, which is the base model that you use, and how much more work that you put on this to make your own technology unique? And the second one is like, I know that some part of the data is from the client itself, right? But is there any other source of the data that you're utilizing to make it to like do the perfect personalization? The rationale behind these two questions are similar to what the previous question is, right? So it's just about competition, right? So how unique your technology is and how unique your data source is depend like it has an impact on whether the other service providers can enter into this area. Maybe Heijin can it enter that area? And also I know that Instagram and Facebook, they're doing a similar thing in terms of their programmatic advertisement. I think they must have team that exploring this kind of options also, right? So how do you compete with the three parties mentioned above by building your own technology moat and the data moat? Thank you.
Thanks, Ihe. Great questions. Initially, with regard to the moat, I'd just like to comment on the business side first, in which I'm obviously more involved. Our go-to-market strategy is targeting large companies. Therefore, it's a sales-led and relationship-based go-to-market strategy. In that respect, obviously, the fact that we can get to these big companies, form relationships, integrate directly with them, presents a moat in itself, regardless of what other players in the market are doing. With regards to the technology, I know part is proprietary, our composition engine. Others, we leverage open source code, but I will pass that on to Vadim.
Yeah, so thank you. Very interesting questions. And first off, originally before the pivot, we were more relying on the Gen AI, on the AI, because originally the platform was about constructing your videos easily but still visually. So you were the final judge. Well, the client was the final judge of the result, and we could use more of the Gen AI stuff there, because it's very easy to create very good looking demos with Gen AI, but it's very hard to productize it, to make it work 100% of the time. So with human in the loop, with the supervision, we can do more things. We can generate more content with AI. But because at the moment we are more focusing on scale and on the basically on the volume of videos created, we had to scale down slightly on the AI stuff. So now it's more making sure that we can generate the volume, and we now put AI very we need to think where we can really put AI, where it will not mess the final result, right? So at the moment we are not generating the complete videos with AI, but we are exploring how we can make it so that we are sure that 100% of the time we'll get good results. And this, basically this is the direction where we can have a difference between our product and what's available in the open source. Because yeah, sure, you can plug any model from Hugging Face and run video generation, but then if half of the time you get broken video, you cannot use this in your product. You cannot send this to your clients. So that's basically regarding the AI stuff. And
yeah, that's more or less it. Thanks very much, Vadim. Does that answer your questions, Ihe?
Yeah, sure. And as for the data side?
Yes, right. This is the second part. So for the data side, yes, the first part of the data, which is the personalized data of the clients, is what drives personalization. This is, let's say, the real-time or generation-time data that we use. And another kind of data is the data that we can use to improve our models. And here again, for instance, for any kind of generation, image generation, video generation, it's collecting our own in-house, very good quality data set for fine-tuning our own models to make sure that the quality gets better. And on the other side, in principle, if we can have conversion signals, if we can have information about the conversion, how well our ads are performing, we can do this kind of model training to change what kind of videos we generate. So actually, we can work with 3 types of data, so to say.
Thank you, Vadim. Zia, please, go ahead. Okay, I see Shashwat has a question. Shashwat, please.
Thanks, Tom. Great product and really love the presentation. 2 questions. You mentioned your GTM is direct as well as indirect. Let me first come to the direct part. Because it's a direct and you are targeting enterprises, who is your ICP and what is the value proposition around those ICP? That's the first part of the question. And the second part of the question, when you mentioned indirect, you're going after a lot of advertising agencies. Of course, that's a no-brainer. But advertising agencies themselves are going through, especially the large ones, are going through a huge round of turmoil. So how are you hedging your bets, especially on the indirect side?
Yeah, thanks, Shashwat. In terms of our direct strategy, going directly to the corporate, so we initially target the chief marketing officer and whether they're responsible for communications also, or whether they pass us on to that person. We sometimes find our proposition getting lost a little in translation at the beginning, as it's assumed we're involved more so in the generation of creatives for paid media, when in fact we sit more so in the mid-funnel, obviously leveraging the customer data that they have on hand to create these pieces. So our key value proposition is that we're going to increase their retention, reactivation, and conversion rates for the audience for which they have that data using our video. We can only really talk about general results that we have from our existing customers. There's typically strict confidentiality around any exact data from any one particular customer, including their names. But we try to leverage that, and then we go ultimately for a POC or a pilot. We've developed a way.
What I actually meant was, you mentioned 4 use cases, right?
Right.
There was an appointment reminder, there was a personalized onboarding, then happy birthday video, and abandonment cart recovery, right?
Yeah.
Now, out of these, a CMO might definitely pay for abandonment cart recovery because you are actually last business you are getting, right?
Yeah.
They may also do the onboarding, pay for the onboarding part, because that's, again, you are actually smoothing the relationship, smoothing the onboarding, and hopefully getting more business. Why will they pay for happy birthday videos or appointment settings? And of course, hospitals, yes, but largely this is a horizontal service, and essentially anybody and everybody can use it, right? So there has to be a strong reason why I should pay for the appointments.
Yeah, I mean, using that example, right, the happy birthday messages, I think there's a loyalty and retention piece that's quite strong there for especially the larger brands, those that are managing marketing budgets of tens or hundreds of millions. The idea of allocating a small amount to that for a particular part of their audience is considered a good investment, especially when it improves their brand image and awareness amongst a particular part of their audience. No, like whilst we can go prepared with our use cases, the majority of our conversations end with the customers, our customers, proposing their own personalized communication ideas. So it's like, what problems are they experiencing and how can we potentially help solve them? So after this call, what I will do is send you through a long list of all of the use cases we've been looking at, because they are infinite. And as I said, every conversation is a different one. Can you please redirect me again with the second part of your question for the indirect partnership type option?
The second part of the question was that in indirect, right now, advertising agencies is one of the option, and they are going through turmoil. What about the others? Like you mentioned Shopify in one of are there any other indirect options that you are exploring at this point of time?
I guess the other two main options, which I kind of alluded to earlier around the digital consulting companies, the Merkles of this world, the TCS, Tata Consulting Services. There are a bunch of really interesting consulting companies there who can offer our service to their clients. And then the other one is those communication or CDN networks or direct messaging type service providers like Blip that we discussed before. That's a really interesting indirect partnership. Beyond that, Jaime, I know you're on the call. If there's any other category of indirect partner you'd like to add?
No, I think that's all the type of partners that we really have. We can have all these small. There's a category here in Spain that all these small and independent marketing agencies that don't belong to a big group of marketing agencies like Publicis, Omnicom, these like big multinational companies that are investing hundreds of millions on creating like automatized like content or AI, generative AI solutions. These independent marketing agencies, they don't have like the muscle or the financial muscle to create and to develop internal tools or automated tools in-house. So they are able to compete in the nowadays market, no? So what they are willing is to attach to some companies, startups, tools like Kuikads to have a more consistent offer and have a 360 offer or business that they can deliver to the clients and compete with these big agencies. So we are finding there a lot of interest on these independent marketing agencies that are wanting to present our solution to their clients.
I see there's a question from Narayan. Narayan? Please.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Pankaj. Thank you. On the same breath, Tom, I was just thinking, why not partner with a CPaaS company or a direct messaging company, right? Because they're already in the business, they're plugged into the enterprises, right? Maybe a partnership with them on a revenue share or maybe something like that, right? Will make sense because they will see an extension and you never know. You might just be up for an acquisition by one of them.
Fingers crossed. Whilst we want to develop a sustainable and growing business, yeah, absolutely, a very interesting opportunity. So we'll definitely allocate more resource to it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Narayan. I mean, it was meant to be a roast session, but you're being generous with the insights as well. So thanks a lot for that. Cassiano, please go ahead.
Quick question regarding the video generation process and the inclusion or exclusion of AI on that process. Vadim mentioned that you are not using Gen AI, at least as a core utility to build the videos. So how are you doing it? You are mixing up several different pictures and creating a image flow. How are you building those videos if they are not based on Gen AI? And how do you think that will lead you on a competitive disadvantage or advantage on the long run?
Thanks, Cassiano, and lovely to see you again, mate. I know I've got to follow up with you separately. Vadim, do you want to have a crack at that question first?
Yes, so we do have AI generation, but we parked it basically for the time being before we can make sure the 100% success rate. And for the moment, we are using simpler animation of the images to make sure that we have compelling motion. So it's a combination of simpler animation, scene transitions, and effects for text and other graphical elements on top of the video. So basically, for the time being, you will not be able to send a photo of a person and then see this person waving hand or something like this. This is somewhere in the future in the roadmap, because half of the time the person will wave hand, and half of the time he will just dissolve into a mess. Basically, the video generation problem, I don't think it really solved. So I don't think it's really a disadvantage, especially in these use cases that we are focusing on. But there is a clear progress there. And because the system was originally designed for this kind of generation, it's already there. We need a bit more time to be ready to apply this to the product and to give this as an extra to clients. So this is.
May I? I'm sorry to interrupt.
No. That's all. Yeah.
So may I add a suggestion, which is you could create like an internal bet on developing these image generation capabilities, allocate some kind of budget, specific budget to explore that as a bet that's not connected to the core businesses and the core sales processes, but don't in a way that you don't lose focus on generating revenues and scaling sales, but at the same time you don't forget about that. And 3 to 5 months ahead, someone comes with a great thing, and you, or maybe 1 year, 2 years, doesn't matter, and you are out of business. So it could be just like an internal bet that you allocate money and you keep exploring and exploring. At some point in time, you have great results,
100%. It's great advice. And we're really lucky to count with an expert like Vadim on the team, who's always at the forefront of the developments in Gen AI in the audiovisual space. So yeah, absolutely. And now that we've got our round closed, can focus on sales, we can also work on our product strategy, as you say. So great advice, Cassiano. Thank you.
So thanks a lot, Vadim, for saving Tom today. Okay, so I don't think it is spicy yet. We need to make it spicy. Any other feedback, question, or even comments or insights that, hey, Tom, this is how you could build your channel strategy or your go-to-market strategy, or this is how you could build your differentiation. Danica, I think you have unmuted yourself. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna like prodding for the holes, like where do you see your kind of big gaps and obstacles? Is it in, that kind of validation, getting the right users, getting in front of the right audiences to explain the solution to the right parts of businesses? Or is it within any kind of developmental kind of gaps or goals?
I think at the moment, and Jaime, feel free to chime in, but one of the main areas for us, or where we're really excited to be able to allocate more resource to now, is in our go-to-market strategy and learning about sales cycles and how organizations of different sizes really work. Because we have learned a lot. We've had an immense amount of interest. As you know, we have our first customers, but we've still got a lot to learn there if we're going to make this scalable. So I think that's a major part for us, figuring out how long the sales cycle takes for each different type of organization, different sectors, and how narrow we should be with our go-to-market strategy, hunting deer as opposed to duck shooting.
Yeah. Do you have any kind of view of what that acquisition cost is yet?
Honestly, no. I could have given you figures straight off the bat with our SaaS model, and it was a fairly standard kind of marketing type acquisition strategy. Nowadays, yeah, no, I haven't figured that out, Danica.
Yeah, it's early days.
Hey,
we'll put some time into it.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, just like before the other question, just like how's your rationale behind your pricing? Like how do you build your pricing model, and how do you calculate that your customer like is satisfied with this kind of pricing and they are okay with their ROI on you? Because you know, like in Europe, like the CPM for digital marketing is like 20 to 40, right? But like if we count down, like if I just see your pricing for per video cost, like if I'm calculating roughly, right? So it's pretty expensive. So and also like if I'm not wrong, like you're targeting for the late life cycle kind of like it's not the first kind of first time exposure kind of customers. So those customers have multiple stages of exposures already, and you're just recalling them, or you're just wanna have the last try of getting them back on the products, right? So I think at that kind of stage, the budget for the marketing, I'm not an expert, right? But should be less than the initial stages. So how do you justify the marketing ROI on your customer, like the pricing?
Yeah, thanks. Great question. In terms of our varied model or scaled model, like the logic behind it is that our computer power computing costs sort of lower their diminishing scale. Basically, as scale increases, our variable computing costs lower, per item. So that's the kind of logic behind why it scales, and obviously to incentivize the customer to order more videos. In terms of how they value the service, sure, if you compare the per unit cost to a personalized email services like MailChimp and so on, you could consider our service expensive. If you were to compare it to video production with other traditional methods, or the other video production services that are capable of generating video of a similar quality to ours, it's incredibly affordable. Mostly, especially larger companies, they're very surprised by how low our pricing is and think that we could increase it. Jaime, is there anything else you'd like to add on the pricing model?
No, I think we've come up with this price that are not, of course, are flexible prices depending on the client, but we've talked with big companies that have had offers or proposals from other companies that create video like lip sync or voiceovers with AI, and the prices they have are pretty similar, but they are charging apart like the production of the piece. Like there are some companies here in Europe, so we are what we are saving is that production part. We don't need a production or a piece of production and a cost of production, and we just go for the video creation and the composition that we are more or less, I think, in a standard market price with other Europe companies that are leveraging similar things, but more in voiceover or lip sync or image generation.
And that's it. Thanks, Jaime. I would just like to add, Zihe, we'd be very keen to get your feedback, potentially in a separate call. You've obviously got some good ideas around this.
Let's take the next question from Cassiano. Cassiano, please.
Another question related to your strategy and competition. For instance, I have noticed a new kind of product category based on AI, which is AI user-generated content, where people are creating kind of marketplaces of personas, and those personas are generally making kind of UGC, I would say, videos exposing things, and they are selling their own image at those marketplaces. And that image later on is customized for the market and company that are buying that profile and using it as a AI image generated. So how would you compete with that? Or are you aware of those kind of marketplaces where people are selling their images?
I'm going to pass that directly to Vadim. Have you heard of this service, mate?
Not of any specific ones, but it seems to me that it's very different in nature, because first it lacks the distribution part, and yes, it's kind of mimicking the user generation content. Probably it's good for authenticity, but so this persona, it's not personalized to the client of a client. So it's like it's an image which can be like an image with a background, with visuals and stuff, but it's more like an avatar that would narrate a video, do the face of a YouTube channel, something like this, rather than a message to a client of a client.
Thanks, Cassiano. We'll take a look at the link. Yeah, Jaime, go ahead, mate.
If I can add something there, there are some companies that are doing that, but I think the difference is it's in the moment that we enter in the funnel. We are super focused on the mid funnel once the lead is generated, and these all user AI content generators, they are more focusing on getting that lead and creating all these ads and posting these ads or delivering these ads via Meta, Google, or something. So the difference is more on where do we have the data, where do we have more data that it's in that mid funnel, where can we hyper personalize those videos and convert and get a higher performance.
Narayan, I think you have a question, please.
Great. One last question to you, Tom. How will brands eventually measure the ROI from this exercise, right? So is the CTA diverting them back to the product catalog, or is it just ends there? So if I'm the brand manager, or if I'm the product manager, or if I'm the business head, I've allocated 10% to Kuikads. How do I measure the ROI against that 10%?
We request that they send trackable URLs accompanying these videos. And ideally, whilst we haven't got there yet, if we can get visibility of the performance of each video, we'd love to get that information, to potentially adapt our compensation model or commercial model in line with ROI, but also, as Vadim mentioned, to gather that data to therefore improve the design and performance of our videos. So yeah.
My only last closing comment would be, I think so you should seriously check out Facebook. They have done a lot of innovation in this space already. I use them for my clients. There is a concept called collaboration ads. They have a CTA, which brings them directly to the product catalog. So you mentioned Dyson. So it brings them to the Dyson SKU specifically with a tracking mechanism, whether the customer bought the product or not. And it gives a feedback loop back to the brand that, yes, you put a video ad or you put any sort of an ad on Meta, and Meta had the CTA, the customer came to the product catalog, and what next steps he did. And they pay per conversion, not just blasting the ad, they pay per conversion. Brands are paying per conversion. So it's quite evolved in Asian market. Facebook is leading the way. I genuinely suggest, because if I'm the brand manager, if I can't track my ROI, I will have second thoughts about, saying that, okay, how do I do this?
No, 100%. We value that. And it's definitely where we're going. I mean, that's the reason we're doing POCs and pilots without requiring an integration, leveraging kind of CSV file data is because we want them to be able to try our strategy and measure the results directly. And of course, traceable URLs are required for that to get the same level of data that you're sharing with, that you're saying about Facebook. So we're definitely on the same page for sure.
Yeah, because the market is ROI driven, ROAS, as they say, return on ad spend. If you can't get that KPI moving, all this looks fantastic on PPT.
Thanks very much.
And I think that's a fabulous insight. And definitely we need to sort of compare the solution against what Meta is already offering. But yeah, I would request other panelists to also share one piece of advice, one final piece of advice that you have for Tom and team. Anybody wants to lead? Shashwat, yeah, please go ahead.
So one simple advice, your website looks terrible. You need to work.
Now we are coming to the roasting part.
We got burned.
You took my one, Shashwat.
So you need to put your use cases, you need to put your verticals so that you don't leave anything to imagination. Amongst the 6 panelists, everyone had a different imagination of your product, and you can't leave that to chance. So that would be the simple advice. Hopefully.
It's a bit sad that it took you 59 minutes to become that comfortable.
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to ensure that the roast is proper.
It's perfectly all right. No, I think this is fantastic insight, Shashwat. If the panelists are not able to figure out the exact messaging and the value prop of the company, then I think we need to work on that. So thanks a lot for that.
Yeah. I would just like slightly add to that and say that I would love to see, like, I think what's exciting is the flexibility and the potential use cases for that. And I would love to see that kind of come out in the website and in, you know, not looking at your sales decks or anything, but those communications and thinking about how you build that brand of being, you know, like, you know, the demos are great. Like, can you do away, you know, a sandbox type experience where people can have a play, or when they go into it, the website changes based on their profile or their industry, and it kind of like that idea of personalization is experienced by the user the first time they come in contact with you. Because I think there's I'm starting to see a couple of the threads here that the kind of the essence of your brand and your kind of deeper value prop and what's distinctive. And once you kind of get, you know, super clear on what those are, really elevate them and make them part of your customer's experience. So they are, you know, if this is a new type of technology and way of working, they need to kind of experience it before they get to play with it, right? And that will there could be some really interesting things that you do there.
Really appreciate it. Thanks, Danica. Thanks, Shashwat.
Thanks a lot, Danica. Cassiano or Zihe, who wants to go next?
Sure. My small piece of advice would be to hire 1 or 2 extra PhDs, keep them eating a lot of pizza, having fun doing their thing, exploring how could you use Gen AI to leverage on upon the technology in the future. Meanwhile, it's extremely helpful to make money with the current product and keep growing. That's it.
Thank you, Cassiano.
Thanks, mate.
Don't starve, don't die, right? Thank you. Zihe, please.
Yeah, I think it's I would say just I want to stress you guys up because it's an extremely competitive space. You have enemy at the back, you have enemy in front. Like Facebook yourself is your enemy, and all the existing customer service providers, whether they're doing text or they're doing voice, like they can all enter into video. So it's very, I think you guys are very lucky that you find a blank space for now, but you have to, you have to speed up to get all your customers ready before your competitors get their technology ready. So just, yeah, I think just this. Yeah.
Thank you, Zihe. If I may ask a panelist one question on the channel strategy. So far, Tom and team have been talking to different marketing agencies, advertisement companies, trying to see how they can partner and probably co-sell their solution to their existing customers, to marketing agencies' existing customers. What do you think about this this marketing agency partnership model? Do you think that it's scalable? Do you see any shortcomings with that? Any feedback on that? Yes, Narayan, please go ahead.
Having been in the similar space, or currently I am in the similar space, right? And I can assure you, if you're working with marketing agencies, the sales cycle will be longer than expected because it's not their priority, right? So to get them to make it their priority, do the demo or do the introduction, crazy stuff. Better go directly to Brian. Get a couple of clients, convert them into case studies, and just go to brands directly. That's what we do. So sitting in India, I have cracked clients in Indonesia, Middle East, the SAARC market, and I'm in active conversations with a couple of companies in the US, sitting in India with no marketing agency in between, right? So go direct.
Go direct.
Because the brand wants to know who are they dealing with.
Appreciate it, Narayan. Thanks very much.
Shashwat, please. And Danica, I would love to take your take as well, because you do run marketing advertisement agency. Yeah, Shashwat, please go ahead.
So this can work if you are actually offering white labeling as a solution, but otherwise looks very difficult, because what is there for those guys? Why will they sell it? So that part is not clear. The other thing which I would strongly recommend in this one is probably your TCS model, those consulting guys, or going after you have tried CMOs, but maybe the customer success, those guys would be interested, because existing customers, trying to serve them better, that is a large chunk which you can utilize, which was not mentioned in your entire presentation.
Thanks, Shashwat. Great advice. Just in regard to your first point with the marketing agencies, our initial model there was a simple revenue share, and to scale it so that with higher volumes, there's a higher commission to create mutual incentives.
Yeah. But the prices are also falling, right? 5 cents from 25 cents, right? Or 29.
Yeah, right. Price per unit's low, but obviously we're trying to get high volumes so that the numbers are interesting for both parties.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in a slightly different space, because we're in B2B, so we don't work with retail or commerce customers. We do work with one of the big courier companies, which there could be a use case there, because they have a big user, and it could be interesting as a creative channel. I'm kind of thinking through this in the background. Maybe it's a conversation to have kind of separately, because I'd want to dig into 20,000 questions and have a full demo and understand the kind of tech load and where that kind of responsibility sits. We're a very small agency, and we sit more at the creative end of things. Yeah, creative strategic end of things. So we work with media partners, but at the same time, we're having lots of conversations around, where can we, how can AI help us add different value to our clients and do different work for clients and, experiment with different things. So, yeah, we're a special kind of niche boutique indie agency, but there are a lot of indie agencies out there. And maybe thinking that through, there are a lot of indie agencies are part of independent network groups. So it may be something kind of at that level where there's servicing that can kind of support kind of more businesses across a platform, across a shared platform, rather than going one-to-one.
Yeah, appreciate it. It's a great idea. I'll be looking into those agency groups. I wasn't familiar with them.
Yeah, so like independent networks.
somewhere wherever you have a B2C company, for example, the CPG vertical, and they have too many hops in between, too many channels. So distributors, retailers, and that is where if you provide the personalized video, it will be selling like a hot cake. So those kind of companies you can actually go after.
Thanks, Shashwat.
It seems Shashwat is becoming an ambassador of Kuikads already. So thanks a lot, Shashwat, for that. I appreciate it. We actually need more ambassadors, right? So always appreciate the support, the guidance, the insights coming from the industry leaders. It has been extremely insightful. I see that Tom is not not sweating, so it means it has been good so far, right, Tom?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks to all the panelists. Really appreciate your time today. And I hope that we can keep reconnecting and keep talking to each other, keep supporting each other's initiatives, and take it from there. Yeah.
Just to conclude, Pankaj, if I can jump in there, just want a special thanks to eFilm, our go-to-market partners in Singapore, for organizing these awesome conversations and events. And of course, to all the panelists, it's been a real privilege meeting you all. And for those of you interested, I'd love to catch up separately to further develop the conversation. So thank you, everyone, and have a lovely rest of your day.
Tom, Vadim, Jaime, fantastic job. Fantastic job. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, everyone.